I know you're listening. You're here because something isn't right. Something feels twisted, upside down. Things don't add up. Hello, human. Welcome to our twisted universe. In this episode, we chat with San Antonio local Jasmine, the Inked Intuitive, about what it's like to be a psychic medium and intuitive. We'll also get into some interesting stories about what it's like on the other side.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Twisted Universe.
Hi.
Hello.
Today, we're going to be talking with Jasmine, the Inked Intuitive.
Hi, Jasmine. How you doing?
Hi. Doing well. How are you guys?
Good. So we met you about 3 weeks ago over at the Black Swan Inn, and you did a reading for us. You are incredible.
Thank you. It was an honor that you guys even allowed me to do that for you. Anybody that I read for, I really consider it an honor because, people out there can be cuckoo, cuckoo. So
it was totally spontaneous. It just kind of like, let's go talk to that girl. You look so cute. And I was just like, I wanted to go over and say hi. And, my dad had just passed. So it's always good to check in with him.
Right.
So I definitely know that you're the real deal. You hit on a lot of really detailed information, and you had information that nobody would know for sure. We were definitely connected to our parents, and we were super happy to have that conversation. We were wondering, can you tell a little bit about yourself? We were just curious about, all your skills and what you can do. And
okay, so originally I started reading tarot anywhere between like 7 to 8 to 9 years ago. But I did not realize that I was actually a medium until recently. And that came about by mistake with me accidentally connecting to someone who needed help, not necessarily transitioning, but just wanting to communicate. But first and foremost, tarot has always been a big thing for me because for me, and it's no secret, and I'll tell anybody can do tarot. I really believe that anybody can do tarot. It's really tweaking that intuition to get the message across and to be clear, and helping other people that you're reading for, or other clients. But even though I was good at tarot, I realized after a time, like I didn't need to use the cards. It was just all these intuitive downloads, but I didn't realize where they were coming from. And so I was working with my mentor, and he goes, no, I don't think this is what you do. I don't think this is what, maybe your strength is. And so he slid me a name on a piece of paper, which was actually a deceased family member of his. And from there, I was able to be like, oh, this was the relationship between you both. Like, this is what they look like. This is the pains that, they felt. Because when, depending on somebody's energy, when I'm connecting with them, I can actually feel how they passed. It's been a wonderful journey, but at the same time, there are some that I get, that they pass in very peaceful ways. And there's some that pass in very violent ways that are like startling to me. So I'm still learning about that, but that's just kind of how I came across it. So, but I've been serving the community now for a little over 8 years.
That's amazing.
That's really awesome. So what's a typical day like for you?
Well, being a high school English teacher, it's pretty routine. But when I am not teaching, English, and I'm home reading for people, the first thing that I have to do first and foremost is cleanse. I have to cleanse because I'm also an empath as well. And this is something that I kind of get hit on the hand within the metaphysical community a lot. People who actually can see the spirits attached, I get that a lot. Like, oh, you cleanse, but there's still some that are hanging on to you. You need to do it again. I don't necessarily feel them because I think we've learned as people to function in chaos these days in society. Yeah. I think we've learned to do that. So I don't feel the extra stress or the extra energy, but cleansing is first and foremost. I spend time with my cards every evening, even if I'm not reading for someone. I spend time with my cards for myself. Shuffling is very meditative for me. And then sometimes I will get appointments through my account, like through Square, the website, or then I will get appointments through TikTok. People kind of message me through TikTok and say, hey, I want to read with you after going live. But other than that, when I'm not doing those readings, I'm playing my cello. I'm also a
Oh, cool.
That's so awesome.
and that is also very meditative for me as well. And I think that calms other spirits and energies as well if they're still like attached, for sure.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Can you get a spirit attached remotely, or do you do remote readings?
Yes, absolutely. Over the phone all the time. But I will say how my energy flows best. I don't know if you remember when I was reading for you, I move a lot, right? I get more energy as I move. I kind of gravitate toward that energy a little bit quicker. It's easier for me to pick up in person. But if I'm doing it over the phone for someone, I'm constantly pacing in my house as I'm walking to find that energy that I'm trying to, look for that person or that person who's
That makes
passed over.
I didn't notice that, but it was.
I mean, you're
I'm
very
constantly
expressive when
moving.
you talk, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
Could you tell me what the difference is between a psychic and an intuitive? I don't know what.
Okay, so here's the thing. All mediums are psychics. Not all psychics are mediums. The biggest difference between the two is a medium is the direct conduit, okay, that can receive the information, whether that is seeing, intuitive downloads, straight communicating as if they were there. A psychic uses other divination tools to get the message. So on top of using the cards, I am also a fan of pendulums as well. I have well over 60, 70 pendulums that I use because there are some spirits who are very picky. They're a little bit on the bougie side and they're like, I don't like that one. And they will let me know that they don't like that one. So I may use another one. But the tarot cards are a divination tool. But that's what a lot of psychics use. But mediums don't necessarily need those tools. We use those tools to make our clients a little bit more comfortable. I have made the mistake. Hold on. It wasn't a mistake. It was something that I was learning to control. Spirits come and drop down and give downloads all the time. And I was in the middle of a class. We were doing flowers for Algernon. I can tell you the exact story we were reading. And a student's grandmother just dropped in heavy.
Oh, wow.
And in the middle of the lesson, I was, such and such says hi, and she wants you to know that she needs you to take care of her daughter, which is her mom.
Oh.
And luckily, the student wasn't freaked out because they had been trying to connect with their grandmother for a long time. But I say all this to say, going back to the divination tools, if that student didn't know me and if that student hadn't trusted me, that would scare the crap out of most people. Like you're coming up to me with the message and I didn't ask for it. So the tools are a way to kind of comfort the client, if that makes sense. And that's what psychics use. Mediums don't have to use them.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. So I know you kind of talked a little bit about when you first realized you had these abilities, but can you go a little more in depth with that?
Sure. If I'm going to be honest, if you're looking for like this epiphany and this, oh my gosh, this aha moment, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. It wasn't any like, oh my gosh, I've gone through my spiritual awakening. It wasn't like that, like at all. It was just kind of like, hey, I can do this. I can help people. And now I can control it and actually reach out and get other people to come and give messages. It was something as mundane as going to HEB. Some people have these huge experiences where they undergo these ego deaths or they, dabble in substances to get themselves there. It was just kind of, oh, well, this is cool. I can do this because this is not new for my family. Everyone in my family also has, their own gifts. My sister has the ability to astral travel years and years and years and years into advance.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is why she works herself to the bone right now. She can actually see what the world will look like 400 years from now. So she doesn't stop. Education is her passion. So she's trying to make the biggest change on the world that she can in this lifetime.
Oh, wow.
A doctorate degree, 4 master's degrees, like she speaks 6 languages.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to like make the biggest impact. My mother is a clairvoyant. So she can see things like in the middle of the night, she'll call, break up with that dude. What happened? oh no, and I'm like, damn, like now I have to. So it wasn't like a huge deal or a huge moment because that's something I've always been exposed to in my family and even
It
in
goes back further too, right? Your
yeah.
grandma?
Yes, and with my grandmother as well. Like she's one of my spirit guides. My grandmother and my grandfather are actually my spirit guides that I know of. I have four more that I've seen in aura photography that are like these circles that hang out up here. I do not know who they are yet. They have not introduced themselves to me yet, but I'll send you guys that picture as well. So
I was
Super
getting
cool.
crazy downloads about you before we, I mean, I was seeing like ancestral abilities, like going back and back and back. I mean, it was almost like there's like something in your bloodline that's like super amped up, or I don't know. I'm almost like goosebumped and like emotional about it. It's so strange.
well,
That's
it's
not happened to me for a guest before. I'm like getting all this information. It's crazy.
but also going into cultural paradigms or perspectives, right? Being an African American female, like this was always in our roots, just like it was with Native Americans, Celtics, it doesn't matter. It's in all of our roots. We have it. We've been socialized to suppress it, to not pay attention to it. Because when you think of children, right, like itty bitties, not like the teenagers I teach, the itty bitties, they're always talking to imaginary friends. And that shit's cute, when they're from 2 to 4, but they're not talking to imaginary friends. Their veils are very thin. They see things that we can't, but as they get older, we socialize them to don't do that. That's strange. People are going to look at you. And so they shut off those gifts. And it's really a shame.
Yeah.
So you getting the downloads and me also being a psychic medium, we've been able to find that. But it's always been there in all of our blood. I think I will be the first to say, I believe everybody is gifted. It's how deep are you going to go and how deep are you going to dig to bring that up to the surface. Something I told one of my friends is, not trying to be funny, but if you're a horror movie fan, I'm scary.
Yeah.
That's something I'm real scary. Even being like a medium, I tell them not tonight. Y'all not coming in the house tonight. Like I'm very scary. But the ones that are always getting possessed or that are targeted are children. There's a reason for that. They are wide open. As adults, we've learned to shut that down. So it goes back in our blood, who we are. I think we all have those gifts, honestly.
I agree with you. I totally think that's something that everybody has access to. It's just like you said, how far are we willing to go to access that?
You're less controllable if you're connected to source.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's very lonely.
Yeah.
When I say that, I'm not asking for cue the violin because I used to play
that. No, we understand.
It is very lonely because you can see who's really got you and who's trying to get you. You can pick that up very easily. And I've actually had to end a lot of relationships, romantic ones, because I don't mean to. I even tell spirit as a medium, I'm human too. If my significant other is doing something, please don't let me know because I like them. I really like them. And then these downloads come in or these images come in, or I can hear the conversations that they may be having with somebody else. I'm like, okay, well now I gotta shut it off. I gotta shut it down at that point. So it gets very lonely. And I think that's why I enjoy surrounding myself with people who are like-minded, and my job being a teacher as well, because there's a lot of innocence there. You don't have to worry about shutting it off or what is this kid really thinking, because what they're really thinking they're gonna say.
Yeah.
So, mm-hmm.
I'm sure you're able to, well, you're empathic too, obviously.
Yes.
I'm sure you're able to help them because you're communicating on a more, I'd say, more connected level than just talk.
Right. It is hard because my kids know, but they don't know because I keep that out of work.
Yeah.
They come and visit me sometimes at different events and whatnot. I have been asked, there was a student who came up to me and she said, Miss, because they never say your name. It's always just Miss or Sir. Miss, I really need help. And I was like, what's going on? And she was just in tears and she closed the door and she said, my friend is missing. She goes, I don't know who else to turn to. And at this point, somebody else who works at the school walks in behind her and says, here's the picture of the girl. We heard from a friend of a friend of a friend that you do this, and we as a school are lost. We need help. And that was the first time I worked on a missing persons case.
my
as
gosh.
well. So, and it was easy to connect, even though I didn't have that student. It's easy to connect through the emotions of others, which is what you were saying.
Sure. What was the outcome there?
She did what I said and what I saw was exactly what ended up, coming to pass. She came home on Monday at the exact time in the exact car that I saw. Just mad at mom, run away, and I'm gonna be with boyfriend because he gets me, you know.
Oh, well, I'm glad it was a good ending,
Yes,
and not scary.
yes.
Wow. Um, how do they communicate with you? I mean, do you see them? Do you hear them? Do you feel them? I mean, how do you know?
I see them rarely, actually. I see them rarely. I get told it's like telephone, what they look like. So sometimes I'll see them on certain sides of people. So if I'm reading for somebody and you kind of see me looking up doing this, they're coming in like flashes almost in a sense. But more so, it's like spirit or the divine is telling me this is what this person looks like. This is how they sound. And I repeat that to somebody else. I really think it's because like my spirit guides know I'm scary. Like when I say scary, like I jump at food. Like they know that. So I get more so intuitive downloads, but as far as like vivid imagery, that's all in dreams. But reading for a person and connecting to somebody who has transitioned, because mediums can connect to the living as well. That's another misconception. People think, oh well, talk to the dead for me. Yeah, but we can also communicate with the living remotely, like across the country, in a different state or on a different continent. But yeah, that's how I get a lot of my messages. It's almost like through the game of telephone, unless the person or the spirit I'm trying to communicate with, which it's happened like 3 or 4 times, is really heartbroken. I don't even get a chance to see what they look like. They're just spewing messages to tell their loved one. And me seeing them is not even a concern. And that's happened one time. That was probably a reading that bothered me the most that I had for this woman. I didn't see what he looked like at all. But it was once he realized I could connect to him. Do you guys remember? I don't know how old you guys are, but do y'all remember when computers were about to crash? You got the blue screen of doom. Like you just
Yeah.
knew it was about, okay. He was sending in so many messages, pictures, sounds, smells, memories, wedding photos, their car, her job. I started stuttering and I felt bad because she's recording this. I'm not even speaking coherently to her because he was just, oh my gosh, you can communicate. I didn't know what he looked like at all, but I was able to, share with her their memories. And oh, there's a box in the living room. You don't play a song anymore. He's concerned about the cat. Your daughter in Kansas. Like all this stuff. He was like, I couldn't even like see him stuttering now. Like I couldn't even finish the sentences. But I never knew what he looked like. But he made it very clear that those messages were meant for his spouse. So
Wow. That's
Just like the floodgates
Woo!
opened.
I mean, you have to be like able to clear it out, because I mean, I would be like super emotional. I don't know how I would handle all that sadness and emotion.
it's hard. It's hard. I cried about it for 2 days, not because of what happened. I felt that I failed that woman. I felt that I failed her because she only could for 10 minutes and he had so much to say. And I felt I couldn't even get that out clearly because of how much he had to say. That really bothered me. And I went to another holistic fair following that. And this woman, I'm walking by and she goes, you have an older gentleman that's still attached to you. He's just talking. He's just talking. And I'm like, is he? She goes, oh, he's just going behind you like one more thing, one more thing.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was because he still had so many things to say. But at that point, with sensory overload and, intuitive download overload, I didn't know how to communicate that. And it bothered me. I cried for 2 days because I felt like I failed that woman. I called her and said, I'm so sorry. Like, can we try this again? And she goes, no. She said, I needed to know what I needed to know in that moment, and she was fine, but I felt like I had failed. So it does get emotionally draining sometimes, for sure.
Coming from I am one of your clients. I didn't get like a lot of information, but I did get confirmation that my dad was happy and he was doing good. He kept flirting with you and
I was like, oh no.
so funny, so funny. But I knew it was him, and I knew he was like having a good time, and it gave me a lot. It gave me a lot of peace. I mean, I fully believe in mediumship and psychic ability, so I knew that you had connected, and yeah, you're giving people peace. Even though you didn't give them the whole story or the whole message, you definitely gave her peace for sure.
Right. And it's rough. It's rough because, sometimes when you get these downloads, you go, am I crazy? Am I making that up? Or was that spirit? Or was that ego? So it's a lot to juggle. And I don't think a medium ever a medium never reaches perfection in that, because we do get in our own heads like, well, maybe I just made that up because I saw this movie yesterday or whatever. But whatever it is, that other person needs to hear it, and that is still a way of communication as well. So I really appreciate that you said, that I give peace. And
oh yeah, you're doing God's work, girl.
Yeah.
So can you see into the future at all?
So can I see? Yes. Clearly as my sister? No. So, kind of taking a dark turn here, just taking a moment for what happened in Uvalde. When that happened, I got every sign in the world that it was going to happen, and I didn't say anything about it. I didn't say anything about it. I woke up that morning at 3:31, and I messaged all my friends. I said, check on your children. Like at 3 something in the morning, just check on your children. Go to their room, check on your children. Went back to sleep. Then I got up in the morning and something just felt off. I felt just sick, like just nauseous. Then I got in the car. I'm like, I'm good. I'm going to get in the car. I'm going to blast, some Childish Gambino. And I tell, my phone, shuffle songs by Childish Gambino. And This Is America comes on. All right. Nope, done with this song. My car computer freezes, so I'm forced to listen to it on the way to work. Then I get to work, and what I do on my conference period to calm my nerves is I shuffle my cards and I use my pendulum, and my rose quartz pendulum, flew out of my hand and it broke.
Oh, wow.
Like heartbreak. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what's happening. Then all that happened, and, later on that, or earlier in the day, not even afternoon, it was like 11 something. And I went home and I called my mom. I said, we're not done. And she said, what do you mean? I said, we're not done. I said, there's going to be 2 more events. And you have to know my mom. I don't claim that in the name of Jesus. I don't claim that. I was like, Mom, I'm not doing it to be like, dark. I'm telling you there's something wrong. And then we had, the other copycat crimes that just kept following. So I can sense things as far as seeing like my sister. No. Using tarot as an outcome, one thing I also stress is we as humans all have free will. I can tell you what could happen, but also in the words of my mother, hard head, make a soft ass. Like you do what you want to do, but I can tell you this is the outcome potentially, if that makes sense. So
I had a similar experience. I always felt really bad about it. We were driving by this abandoned house and it was cold and I could see the fire going, and Spirit told me to call the police. Call the police, like call the police. They're like shaking me. And I pick up my phone and I'm like starting to dial, and I'm like, do I call 911? Do I call the non-emergency? And we're getting further and further and further down the road. And we're discussing it. We keep driving, and then I'm like, it's cold. It's probably fine. But they told me specifically to call the police. Like I needed to, and I didn't. And the next morning, the person in that house murdered a little kid. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I know that looking back, like you'd never know, you don't know what you're missing. But I always, ever since that day, I always like, if they tell me, I'm doing it. I don't care what it is. I don't care what kind of joke I look like or freak or whatever. I'm going to do what they tell me.
Right.
It's
Right.
crazy. But you know, those things you don't own them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You can learn from them.
Yeah, but they stay with you. They
Oh,
stay
yeah.
with you. All it takes is, you putting your hand on the hot stove one time to learn
Yeah.
what I'm not going to do again. Or, like this is what I have to follow through with next time. So I completely understand that.
Yeah.
I completely understand that. Oh, that's, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh my gosh.
I
I
know.
get it.
No, never again though. That wasn't good.
Got to learn to trust yourself in those moments.
I would
for
tell
sure.
people, yeah, trust your gut. And if
Yeah.
you have a strong intuition or you're being urged somehow and it's overwhelming, you're probably
Mhm.
getting a message.
Right.
I mean, and
Absolutely.
as far as you go, like you weren't really sure what was happening. You knew something was off, but you didn't know where to go with it.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And I still felt bad. And I still felt bad because all the signs, Childish Gambino's This Is America, and then 3 something in the morning, check on your children. And that was the other thing. I had a dream before, now that I'm thinking back at it. I had let my dogs OUTSIDE. I'm not gonna say it. And in the dream, that's what happened. And I saw this huge, I don't know if you can call it a demon dog. I don't know what you would do. And it came up and it completely ripped the flesh from my arm in the dream. And I love dogs. I've grown up with dogs. I have 2 big ones and a little schnauzer. And I said, let me look up what that means. And to see a dog bite you, because I felt it. I felt my flesh rip in the dream. It means, sudden upheaval, betrayal, something that you're used to or that's in your comfort zone has taken a turn for the worst. And, me being an educator, like, it's terrifying when we go into lockdown drills and I've been in a school shooting before. So I don't know if I was just super sensitive to that and I ignored it, like you did. I talked about it maybe to myself and then went back to sleep and ignored it. Same thing, waking up at 3 something in the morning, ignored it. Let my friends know to check on their kids. Okay, ignored it. This Is America by Childish Gambino, ignored it. The pendulum rose quartz broke, ignored it. And then at 11:17 or whatever time it was, so it's just, oof, I completely understand. But that's got to be rough because one thing that you did that I didn't do was you actually saw the fire in the house. I just knew something was wrong, but I didn't know how to articulate what was wrong. So,
Yeah. What are you supposed to do with that? You don't own that.
yeah, it's just like,
it's still heavy, but you can't like hold on to it like it's your fault for anything, you know?
For sure. For
Right.
sure. That's rough.
It is, but we get through it. We learn. All it takes is one good time. One good time.
Okay. What is the scariest thing you've ever encountered by doing mediumship?
I'm lucky to say I've not had a scary experience yet.
What was that?
I'm lucky to say I have not had a scary experience yet.
Oh, that's good.
I think I'm trying to say that quietly so they don't all come out of the woodworks.
Like,
But like, I have not
just
had a
kidding.
It's like, all right, now I'll keep it over there. I have not had a scary experience yet. Like I said, I really think my spirit guides know I'm a wimp. So they're working like double time, like keep all that stuff away. I think they know that I'm a wimp, which is why sometimes I ask, like, why me? Like, y'all know if a noise, happens in the house, I'm like, what is that? What is that? So
That's so funny you say that. That's funny because you kind of know what's there, what goes bump in the night.
Yeah, but I'm still like, I don't like that. And I make it very clear, like, I am that person who has no problem getting up in the middle of the night with a flashlight, like, what is this? So I haven't had any scary experiences. Thank goodness I haven't.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Sorry, that's so boring.
No.
I mean, it's better than having scary experiences. Am I right?
For
Yes.
sure.
So do certain places like have energetic imprints, and what's like the most impactful place you've been to?
Probably, it wasn't a place, it was an object.
Okay.
You could tell how much this person loved this other person by the jewelry that they were given. Um, I felt the heartbreak in that one. I felt they weren't ready to depart from the world the way they did. I also have no problem saying at even when I went to the Victoria Black Swan Inn, everybody talks about, oh my gosh, there's all this energy and I sat there and I was like, really? I didn't, I was lit. Like I was like, oh, I am ready to go experience this. I'm gonna walk in the house. And I walked in the house and I didn't experience anything. And I was pissed. I was like, I want the show. Like, I want the show. Like, what happened? But I mean, you can sense the energy there, but it wasn't like super.
It didn't like smack you across the face.
No,
Yeah, I was
no.
expecting a wow and didn't get that either.
Yeah, and I was like, and it's not that it was a bad thing, but some people are more sensitive to it than others. I don't know if I've subconsciously said, keep that shit away. Like, I don't know what I've done. But even the owner, she came up to me at one point and she said, you were just so brave to sit and do your mediumship readings right here and your tarot readings literally with your back facing the house. And you're the only reader that's like right here. Everybody else has to go to the back. And I was like, really? I was just here because the shade. Like, I was here for the shade. And she was like the fourth person to tell me that. So in terms of going places, can I pick up on energy? Yes. Has there ever been something that's really knocked me on my behind that's like, I don't need to be here? No. And I don't know if my spirit guides are just bored and they want to play games and they're like gambling on my life. But like, I mean, I've gotten like, signs like, don't go down that road.
Oh yeah.
Don't talk to that person. I've gotten things like that. But as far as going into places, no. Now, I can say, in my stepfather's house, his first wife passed away. Now her residual energy is there, but it's not like anything bitter or upsetting. She's just kind of there, just checking on us in the kitchen, like, how's it going? So I feel that every time I go home. But I've not come into energy that just like really knocks me off, like somewhere like, oh, I got to get out of here. Like, this is not it. So,
Gotcha.
like I said, I think they know it's because I'm scary. They know it's because I'm scary.
That's probably why. That's probably why
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
like,
the
stay away
boundary.
from her.
Yeah.
Like,
Funny.
so
I can't, there's a lot of antique stores in particular that I can't go
Mhm.
into.
Really?
Or if I'm in there, I can't stay.
Really?
Yeah. I've had to leave a few of them.
That may be something I may need to try because there's a lot of residual, energy in people's belongings.
Yeah.
And I like to, and so that's so funny because I enjoy going to antique stores or thrift stores and actually picking up and holding items that belong to someone else. I enjoy doing that, but maybe it's because I've always been drawn to pick up the right item, So
yeah.
I don't know. I really think what we attract and what we get exposed to is meant for us to see. So people
Interesting.
who, kind of get the energy that's a little more startling, it's because spirit knows they can handle that. Not this one.
I fight back.
Not this one. Because I'll be like, and cut. Like, we're coming in with the incense. We're coming in with the Florida water. Like, I can't. And I have no.
Goes on, and I'm like, you just get out of here right now. Like, you barking up the wrong tree. Like,
I think they know not even to go that way. They're like, she's boring. Next, like, she's boring. I'm like, good, go on, take your ass on. Like, I don't care for you either. So absolutely.
That's hilarious.
get out of here.
I also think they just couldn't navigate like my house. I have so many damn plants. Like, they think we're probably outside anyway. Like, it's not okay. I have 145 plants.
Oh wow, that's
it's
awesome.
amazing.
Okay.
You keep them all alive too. I can't do that to save my life. Like,
do plants have a spirit?
Do they have an energy? So you're gonna laugh at this. I can tell when one's about to get sick. Before their leaves start to yellow, I'm like, this one's about to act out. This one's about to act out. Oh, you need plant food. And then, I can prevent it that way. But if I'm like out of town or something like that. Of course, watering, that's basic, but you have to feed certain tropicals, certain things. They do have an energy when you tell they're not doing well. And they even show it when they're not doing well. They can have the perfect amount of sunlight, they can have the perfect amount of water and food, but you can see when they're not doing well. So I talk to my plants every day as well. I do.
That's so cool.
I know this is going to be out there. Do you think the plants talk to each other? I heard
I do.
trees communicate.
I do. And I think they mirror one another as well. So if one has an attitude and is not in a good mood, the other one who's around that plant's energy is like, oh, what we mad at? I'm gonna drop leaves too. Now watch. So, definitely. And I've had to separate them because of that. Like, what are you pissed off about now? Like, I tell them, like, I don't know what you're mad about. Like, you have a little raggedy ass grow light. You just got fed. I leave music on during the day. What's wrong with you? Like, so
why are you being so temperamental?
Exactly.
So funny.
Exactly.
That's so cute.
That's not a strange question at all. I really do believe that they them. I do.
That's funny.
I
Do
do.
you think there's such thing as an energetic loop, like almost like a story playing over and over again?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What
I
is
think
that? Like, why? What happens there? Do you know?
because we're not as fascinating as we think we are. Nothing is new under the sun. Nothing is new under the sun. We just come back in different skin suits. So, as far as the energetic loop and the story playing over and over, some people can really go deep into that and go, life is a simulation, type of thing. But I
Right.
also like kind of get it, like nothing's really changed if you really think about it and looking through history, looking through the type of people we have. So, English teacher moment, right? In every book, you have characters or you have archetypes. Our archetypes are broken down in a way that we can understand by astrology or personality, right? To go through the same thing, we just come back in different skin suits. Is that anything that bothers me? No. Am I going to try to make the best of it in this lifetime? Yes. Do I know that I've been here before, which has affected things in this lifetime that I do? Yes. And that's my energetic loop. So in all of my lifetimes, I've never had children. I've always cared for other people's children. I never had my own. Never had my own.
Huh.
And I'm 34 and don't have children. And that just keeps repeating because that's my energetic loop. That may not be yours. That may not be the universe's, but that's mine. And it does repeat. But I mean, that's a whole different conversation you can go into about, well, can you break the loop? Is this a simulation to see how we behave? That's a whole different thing,
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
I can recall I've been here 6 times. And I lied, excuse me. I had children in one lifetime. And it sounds awful to say. I resented them because theirs were much better than mine. I was in an arranged marriage and I was very bitter that my daughter got to pick her husband. I was very bitter that my son got to do what he wanted. I was in, upper class where arranged marriages were a thing, like you don't have a say, you're marrying this person. And in revisiting that lifetime, I was asked, well, where are your children now? And, you undergo a form of hypnosis, going through past life regressions. And I said with the most like crunk tone, I don't know. I don't care.
wow.
And yeah.
Wow.
And he was like, oh, well, do you know one's married and one's doing something else? And it's not that I'm mean to children, but it could have been it's like karma for me. This is why I don't have children right now, but I've taken care of other people's children. In one lifetime, I was a midwife. In another lifetime, I was a martial arts teacher, okay, as a male. In this lifetime, I'm a teacher teaching other people's children, but I don't have them. So similar energetic loops, definitely.
That's super fascinating.
I was a little sad though. I was like, what? And I thought something was wrong with me for a long time because my friends in high school, when we were seniors, they were just so excited to run off and get married and have all these babies. And I was like, I want to travel. Like that was never a thing for me. And I felt so bad going to all of the weddings and stuff like that because they would be like, here's my baby such and such, they're 3. And I'm like, here's my dogs. And so it wasn't that I was against having children at all. it was just never a priority for me, and I didn't know why, and I felt guilty for it. And then going back into that past life regression, oh, now that made sense. I always cared for other people's children. I never had any.
I mean, I don't think everybody needs to have kids.
Right.
No, I don't think it's like everyone's journey, you know?
Mhm.
So,
You're being authentic to yourself.
You're right, but it's hard in a society where, we can say kids are not for everyone, right? We know that, just like school is not for everyone, college is not for everyone. But there's this undeniable pressure that society puts on you even as a woman, like, well, it's your lot in life to have children. It's your lot in life to reproduce.
Yeah.
And you feel guilty for that. Like, but I don't want to. I'll adopt every dog, every bird. I did, but children, I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, I don't think that we should normalize it because it is societal pressure, but that doesn't mean that's what you're meant to do just because you can, you
Right.
know? So,
And your gifts lie elsewhere.
hmm I don't know what I would do if I had to stop teaching. I really don't think I could function if they said you can't teach anymore. I think I would fall apart. I really feel that my calling in this lifetime is teaching others, connecting others on an educational level and a spiritual level. And I feel that gives me balance as well. So that it wasn't meant for me to be, it wasn't meant to be in this lifetime. So as far as little ones.
yeah. Well, you got to stay true to yourself and, you're doing great things as it is. So, that's amazing in itself.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
So have you ever crossed any spirits over?
Yes. Yes. There was a client I actually read for last week, and this one really sticks out. Her daughter passed away very young at 3. And, she was highly upset. She's from devout Catholic background. And she said, I just want to make sure that my daughter is okay. And I said, she hasn't passed over. Like, she's still with you. And she got angry with me. I knew she wasn't angry with me. She was concerned for her baby.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, why doesn't she just go to God? Why does she? I said, she's 3. I said, do you remember when you got lost in the grocery store for the first time? You thought your life was ending. Like you go to bed and you're expecting to wake up in the morning and see Looney Tunes and Nickelodeon, if anybody watches that anymore.
Yeah.
You're expecting to see Looney Tunes and Nickelodeon and you wake up and you're somewhere else. That is traumatizing, for a 3-year-old. That is because it happened so quickly, I said, that is traumatizing. And she took it personally.
Oh, wow.
Like, well, where is she? I said, she's still with you. She's not leaving. Well, she said she was so frazzled. She's like, you have to tell her to go. I said, I'm not her mother. She sees me as a stranger who can see her. But she wants you to talk to her. And she just got so angry with me. Well, why can't she just go? God should just take her. Why can't she just go? And people go through phases of denial like that. And her passing was very recent. I think only like a month or so ago.
Right.
And I said, again, I can show her the candy shop, but she's not going to go in the candy shop unless her mom is there holding her hand, type of thing. But then she struggled being a devout Catholic, like, well, should I even be doing this? Do I really believe in this? Well, so you're saying my daughter's in purgatory, things that I don't understand. I grew up in a loud Baptist Black church, so, I don't understand that. But, her anger wasn't toward me. It was toward the fact that she didn't know where her child was. And so I was trying to talk to the little one and say, hey, this is what's happening. Mom's, wanting you to go here. And she was, like a 3-year-old would be like, no, like I wake up and mom and dad and brother and sisters aren't there. Like she's freaked out, So the way that I had to get her to transition was actually calling on the mom's deceased father or pawpaw, who she knew at that point. She's not going to trust me. There are some spirits that come to talk, or, you know, that people even ask, hey, can you connect with? And they won't connect with me. She's not going to connect with me. She's 3. She doesn't know who the hell I am. I can see her. I can tell her the right things to do. She doesn't know me. She knows her mom.
Right.
I've had somebody ask, hey, can you call on my dad? Sure. He didn't speak to me. He was a racist. So like, you know, I can't, you know.
Really? Wait.
Oh,
What?
yeah. Yeah.
When they cross over, they don't.
Oh, no. They're still people. They're still people. They're still people.
Like, you think being on the other side,
That
being
just, like,
exposed
for-
to that would just like, you know, make you realize, oh, like
No,
we're all human
seriously,
beings.
I
Like,
thought you would be enlightened at that point. Like that
Oh,
was my belief
no.
system.
He straight refused. He straight refused. And I'll tell you about that in a second. But I had to call the girl's pawpaw, hey, come get her. Like, she's not, come get her. She's not doing it. And that was a 2.5-hour ordeal. Of course, you have a grieving mother who's concerned for her child, who is still processing the loss. Your energy is now feeding into the child's energy, who's already scared. She's never seen her mother cry like this. She's trying to give me clues to let me know that it's her. I said something about nails. Y'all did nails and cheese. And the mom lost it at that point because their favorite snacks were Cheez-Its, and she would do her nails and stuff like a way to get her to, you know, let her clip them, like, because she hated getting her nails cut. And she was like, well, what is she doing? I was like, well, she's not listening right now. Well, you're a medium. Why isn't she listening to you? Bro, she's 3. She's like running all over the place. Like, I'm trying to get her, like, wait, no, come here. Well, okay. Not focusing right now. Like, she's not focusing, you know? So it took about 2.5 hours, but I think the biggest concern for the mom was did she transition? And I told her, I said, I don't know at this point. I know that she's being taken care of by Paul. I don't know if she's transitioned. It was hard for her to understand, yes, you're her mother, but she's still a 3-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And it was intense. She was angry at God. She was angry, you know, just reevaluating her whole religious system. And she went off on me when I said, I believe people who aren't, or souls who aren't here long, are meant to teach us lessons. And she explained to me that her husband and her had separated. And when they got pregnant with the little one, it made their relationship stronger. It brought them back together to establish the family. Shortly after there was peace in the household, the daughter passed away. And I mean, she was just angry. She was angry at God, like, well, why would he do this? And why hasn't she passed over? And why can't she just go to the light? Why is she being punished? Why is she in purgatory? You know, and sometimes when you get people who you're helping to cross over and religion, like heavy religion is involved, it's not so much as a let me help you cross as it becomes a coaching session. Like, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that you're upset. I'm not Catholic. I know sit, stand, kneel. That's all I know. But I'm not too familiar with purgatory. I don't know who all the saints are. I don't know why you're yelling at me. Okay, well, let me help you. Let me tell you what's happening. She's not being punished. God did not punish her. Like, this happens often with people who are trying to cross over. Do I feel that she's crossed over? Honestly, not entirely. Even now, I'm talking, my hairs are standing up. I don't feel she's crossed over entirely. She's still she misses her mom. Like, you
She
know,
wants to be with her mom.
Yeah. I mean, for a spirit life, a lifetime isn't really that long, is it?
no. Like, and
So-
she was here a blink, you know, and she just started to understand how some things work, maybe a little bit of vocabulary. And the example I tried to give her, did you guys ever watch the show True Blood at all?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember, what's his name? Godric. He looks 12, but he was like 4,000 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. So she goes, well, when people transition, do they grow up over there? I say, from what I've seen, no. They stay in their own body, but they can gain years of wisdom. And I was trying to explain that to her using the show, because Godric was Eric's maker, but, you know, Eric was like that sexy Nordic man. Like, we don't even need to go there. But Godric looked 12, you know, he looked 12, but he was 4,000 years old. I was like, she can still see, she'll still be able to communicate. But I think the hardest thing for that mother to understand, even in transitioning, you were still a human before you transitioned. She is still scared. She doesn't know what happened. She's not being punished. She's still all over the place. She's still ADD. You know, when we get older, and you know how adults say, you know, I'm ready to go. I'm going to control when it's my time to go. Her baby was 3. She didn't get that, you know. So have I helped? Yes. Do I hope I did it right? Yes. In talking about it and reconnecting with my hair standing up, she's trying, but she's fighting. But you expect that from a 3-year-old.
Yeah, because their safe space is their mother.
Their mother. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that makes sense. And that's really hard. Did you feel really emotional afterwards?
I did. But I think it was more of a toll on the mother than it was for me. She had so many questions.
Yeah.
She had so many questions about why, her religion, who are you, how come you can see her and I can't? And that was something that made her very angry. I'm her mother. Why can't I see her? I don't know. I can tell you what she looks like, but I can tell you what she's doing. I don't know why I can see her. Well, how come you can't? Why did God give you this gift and not me? And I'm the mother. Like, these were things that were like coming out. And I'm like, she's not.
I don't even know.
Yeah,
You're like, I don't even know.
And I had to keep telling myself, she's not mad at me. She lost her child, and I'm here trying to put together the puzzle pieces. She's not mad at me. I don't know who these saints are. I don't know who these angels are. I don't know how this works. I don't know, because then she also felt guilty for talking to me, because you're not supposed to do that, being a Catholic. Like, there was just a lot of conflict there, and it ended up being 2.5 hours.
Wow. That's crazy.
Well, I think we're running out of time here.
Jasmine, would you be interested in coming back and having another conversation?
Absolutely. I'm so sorry. Did I talk you guys heads
No,
up?
no, of course not. No. We just had a lot more questions, and I think we're running out of time.
You're fascinating to talk to. Actually, it's been an incredible interview.
Yeah.
We're going to cut some of this out a little bit.
Sure.
We only meant to keep you an hour, and we're at that mark. So
it didn't even seem like it.
No, it didn't. It didn't feel like
it's been so good.
Yeah.
So I love talking to you.
No problem.
All right, Jasmine, thank you so much for joining us today. We've had an amazing conversation with you. Is there any way that people can contact you for readings and such?
Yes, you can book with me at www.theinked.intuitive, as in tattoo inked, INKED, intuitive.com. You can also follow me at The Inked Intuitive on Instagram and on TikTok, The Inked Intuitive, all one word. Yes, you can do that as well and book readings.
All right, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jasmine. We'll see you soon.
Okie dokie.
Bye.
Bye.
Think about you all the time. You got me loose. My heart was troubled, now I'm fine. Sky is blue, the snow is gone now from the streets.
Thank you for watching. Come back soon for more great videos on strange and unusual topics: psychics, hauntings, energy healing, UFOs, entities, and other twisted shenanigans. Keep listening for a short clearing prayer.
We welcome all higher dimensional beings, archangels, and spirit guides in love and light. We speak to you from our heart to the Creator being. We are shrouded in light and love and are protected. We release any attachments or agreements that are not in our highest good and greatest good. We ask you to go in peace. The Creator welcomes you. You are healed and forgiven, lifted and enlightened. You are healed and forgiven, lifted and enlightened. You are surrounded with the Creator's light and love, safe to leave and ascend to your highest good. We ask the divine beings to help you move into your perfect place. Go in peace and love.